Okay, so I am back today. I have not made a whole lot of content as of late. However, part of that is because I've been going down the self-hosting rabbit hole. And because of that, I am getting really excited to share with you what I want to do today. And essentially, that is to find more self-hosting items for my new home server. Now, please forgive me if this video is a little laggy. I'm trying to record vertical and horizontal at the same time. So if that happens, please leave a comment down below and just let me know. I'll probably see it when I upload it, but just in case, please feel free to comment. Now, everything I'm going to show you today, I do not have any relationship at all with, and I don't necessarily endorse any of it either. I will say the website that I use to find all this stuff, I will endorse purely because it was really awesome. Let me see if I can share my screen here. It's like self-host, but instead of an O, it's a dot. And I didn't even realize they had an actual directory page. I was actually going through their newsletter, which had like 15 pages worth of stuff. I went through every single post just to find anything new that was interesting to me to share. And there's, as you can see, I mean, even on the vertical, it's a little bit skewed off, but as you can see on here, there is a ton of really awesome little apps. And so I'm just going to go through each of these different GitHub repos and Iceberg repos just to show you all the really cool stuff that I had found. And before I get into that, I obviously know there's a lot of basic stuff that you might already add. I am actually kind of avoiding Tailscale, so I was looking for an alternative to that, mainly because I didn't want to use a Google or Microsoft authentication, and even GitHub is through Microsoft, so it still doesn't count. I want to avoid the big companies altogether. So I was looking for stuff like that. I'm also a gamer, so there's actually a handful of gaming stuff, so I'll leave that towards the end so I can kind of group them all together. There is no particular niche, and what I'm going to try to do is include every single link that I share today. So all the different GitHub stuff that I found, I'm going to share them down below. Again, no particular order, just because I just wanted to organize it with the gaming stuff doesn't mean there's any prioritization. So I don't know if these are good. I've not used them yet, but I keep seeing all these top 10 Docker images videos, and they're all basically the same crap, and none of them are actually unique. There's been like a couple videos where I found one unique tool. I wanted to make this video in case you are looking for actually unique and kind of like rabbit hole tools. So screen share, and then what I'm going to do is see the next one here, Mailflow. So this is just a self-hosted mail client, but when I looked at the screenshots, I thought, this looks actually pretty nice. And so I just thought I would mention that to you guys. There is also another mail one somewhere around here, but this is also kind of cool. A nice modern calendar. Now, you still have to have like a calendar server, I believe, that has the CalDAV client, or like this is the client for your CalDAV server. I think I was using ByCal or something like that, or iCal, whatever. I think it's ByCal. But, I've been trying to find an actually good looking front end. I think this is kind of cool. Moving on right away. Not going to take too long per each of these. This is one of those open source, social media management tools. And while I don't necessarily have any opinion on it because I can't see what it looks like, I think, I'll look at the webpage for you because I want to see if it has any sort of good interface. This is just a freaking website. It doesn't actually show you what it looks like. Okay, never mind. Well, there's Postiz, there's TryPost. I mean, I'm still going to use Nuelink because I have it all set up on there and it's really reliable. But I have thought about self-hosting in the past. This is just one of those database tools I was actually using on their cloud version, a SaaS version. This is basically an alternative to Airtable. So this is NoCodeDB. This is actually what I had my PolyTools database in for a while. It was pretty good. It got pretty laggy, but I think that might have been also just because it was still pretty new. And maybe if I self-hosted it, it'd actually be a lot less laggy. This and BaseRow, I think, are some great alternatives to Airtable. But I wanted to throw it out there because I came across it. This kind of made me excited because, let me see, is there any more? Yeah. Look at all these screenshots. So you have different programs, you have different workout logs, and I think that is something I would actually see myself using. So can I click on this and make it a little bit bigger? I just think that's kind of cool. You have different days, and I definitely have the need to keep track of what I'm doing more. And I just figured this is something worth mentioning. Moving on. Let's see, a collaborative markdown tool. And I think that's kind of just, it's a very simple one, but I figured collaborative is still pretty useful to mention. I think, is this the same calendar before? No, this is a different calendar. Another modern looking calendar. And this one's actually an aggregator too. So you can aggregate multiple calendars together. I think that's why I actually listed it out because I thought it would be kind of useful. Let me see if I can full screen this without having any issues going between tabs. So the next one we have here, your day at a glance. I technically have something like this called Day Planner in Obsidian, so that's kind of useful, but I feel like this might be kind of helpful for some people, especially if you want to put it on like one of your dashboards or something like that. I don't even know what this is, to be honest. Let's see. Yeah, it's just like rolling up a lot of data together, but it just seems, oh, it's a task management app. Okay, that's right. Yeah, a very advanced task management app. And since the interface was nice, I'm a big UI guy. If the UI is not there, or if any of these GitHub repos didn't have screenshots, or their websites were down, I didn't include them. So I just saw this, and yeah, again, I'm quickly going through all these. If you want to check them out, the links are down below. This was cool. You can export your Spotify playlist to your self-hosted Navidrome. Hell yeah, because I have a crap ton of playlists, and I downloaded all my music. So now I have all my music just disorganized on my Navidrome server. So I'm going to actually try this out because it seems pretty cool. Let's see. A calendar sync tool. Okay, so this one's another one that's like syncing them all together. I think this one's actually even more focused on the syncing portion of it. I don't see any other screenshots, but I thought that was pretty cool because I definitely think that if I were to still keep using Google Calendar, like maybe for scheduling meetings or something like that, because I can't do it with my own server, this might be a helpful alternative. Let's see. RSS reader. So this is an RSS reader where it uses LLMs to help kind of sort things. I thought that was kind of unique. I mean, I've seen a few of these, but this one seemed actually kind of decent, so I thought I'd mention it. Okay. A privacy-focused AI assistant. I don't know how good it is, but the interface is really good, and I definitely have been looking for more AI assistants, so I'm just excited about trying this out. Let's see. Okay. This is a lightweight self-hosted note-taking application. I mean, I would probably just use Obsidian at this point, but this is still kind of cool, so I thought I'd mention. There is a ton of note-taking tools. Speaking of one, here's one that is, I think, kind of unique, where it's more of just like idea capture. So instead of Google Keep, you can use this, and every day you can add an idea or something like that. This is just, quick capture, little memo. And I think that is useful for a lot of people, especially like, neurodivergent people who just need to be able to get an idea out of their head and just put it down. So that's why I put this one here. Okay, so yeah, privacy first, password, and email alias manager. Now, I think that this would be kind of cool, especially if you're trying to stay more private, be kind of like a gray man, if you will. And so I thought that this was worth keeping around because I was like, even if I'm not using this right now, I do kind of want to use a password manager. So this might be kind of useful. But I think that, because I'm not going to use Bitwarden, long story, not going to use it. So this might be a good alternative, especially since like the actual alias aspect that I don't think these other password managers are really taken into account. Yeah, so this seems like an open alternative to Otter and some of those other transcription tools. I think that I could see myself using this, especially for podcasts or even like, webinars and stuff like that. But it actually looked pretty decent when it came to the feature set. Again, no endorsement at all. I just thought it was cool looking. This is something that's actually really cool looking. So it basically allows you to plan your trips, and I think that that's pretty cool. There's another one out there I think that's even a little bit better, but this is already pretty dang feature rich, and I just think that's like really cool, especially since I want to travel more. I think that this was worth mentioning. My stupid vertical screen does not show it very well. Oh well. Should show all the GitHub pages. Now, as a karaoke conquistador, or really that's what they used to call us, as a karaoke DJ, I thought this was pretty dang cool. Your own self-hosted karaoke server, and then so you have a queue here. I don't know if it's manageable. Yeah, I think it's only manageable by the host, but at the very least, it's all that matters. And like, this is a very basic interface, but considering what you need for karaoke, that's probably all you need. And even like the TV version of it looked pretty cool. Let me share the screen here. Can I move this over on OBS so people can see it? Yeah, there you go. And then I guess that's good enough. Let's go back, next screen. Make sure it's actually viewable. So this looks interesting too, where it's like a little interaction, like a graph view, like you would have in Obsidian, but for Wikipedia articles. And I was like, that's just pretty neat. I wonder if it's actually usable in other ways too, not just Wikipedia articles. Now, my whole channel started with having this self-education route, and I think that perhaps down the line I really need to get back into the modular degree framework, because there's a lot of AI self-learning systems, and I think that this is just one of those things where if you could find the right one, it would be really helpful to you. What do we got? Oh, AI powered card note taking project. Okay, let's see. Where's the screenshot? I want to see. Oh, okay, never mind. But that looks pretty cool. Again, pretty simple, tool, but we'll find something else. Pretty self-explanatory here. It just helps automate the Cloudflare channels. I think that that's kind of helpful. Maybe the labels too. I don't necessarily know enough about that kind of tunneling and stuff like that, but considering how important it is to have something like that and how annoying it's been for me to set up, I'm probably going to use this alongside Cloudflare itself, unless I use like WireGuard or something. This is something that a lot of people know about already. It's just like a host for Moonlight. I think that that's kind of cool, especially if you want to. I think this probably might replace like having your system already set up like a Windows PC. So maybe you could just put this on a computer that's pretty powerful already and just have your server on there. And that way you can just focus purely, like save all the performance. Instead of having the Windows overhead, you just have all the performance on from an actual server computer. Boom. Now, this I don't particularly care about. I think I looked at it real quick and it was all right. It's like a little simple Twitter alternative that you can host yourself. I just thought that was kind of cool because it is kind of useful in its own way. And this was just like a video host that you can put for yourself. So if you had a website, you can add your videos to it and you're hosting it yourself. Cool. This, I wish I had more of a need for it. I don't care for Google Analytics. And again, I'm trying to de-Google. So this is one of those things besides Ghostboard, which would probably be more useful for me since I'm using Ghost. Speaking of which, I guess that's kind of like the sponsor of today's video because I use Ghost as my CMS of choice for my website. It is self-hostable. I could be hosting it myself now, but considering the fact that I do get a decent amount of traffic and impressions, I don't think that's wise for me to host it myself unless I had a more powerful and or dedicated server purely for Ghost. And the thing I bring up is that I want to use Magic Pages. That's who I use. Let me get rid of this crap. This was not planned to have the sponsor spot. Let me see. So I use Magic Pages for my host of choice. And they have been great in all of the areas that I need. Anytime I have issues, they have been very quick to handle it. Because Janice here is very, very knowledgeable in this space. And so I just wanted to shout them out. I'm going to have the affiliate link down below if you want to use them. And if you use the link, it helps the channel. But this is who I use for my host. And it's been way better than Ghost Pro. So just wanted to mention that. Okay, I went back to where I needed to be. Control Tab. All right, so here's another habit tracking app. I don't think this is actually the first one in the video, but I found so many. This is one of the only ones that actually looked usable because all the other ones were either overly simplified and terrible interface or overly complicated. Like they tried doing a gamification one, but it ended up being like way more complicated than it needed to be. So this was interesting. I figured, if you wanted to have your own host, like it's a powerful podcast hosting platform. I think there might be one other one on this list today. But honestly, like I think that the way that this one actually looked a little bit useful. Let me just see if the website's there. And so, I mean, yeah, I don't see any screenshots, unfortunately. But yeah, I think that having a link tree is important nowadays, but the actual Linktree app itself is highly overrated. And I wanted to show you an alternative because honestly, Linktree sucks, and I use some other ones that are actually pretty good, like Beacons. I'm not sponsored by them, but I am wearing their hats, and so Beacons, and I think, honestly, I could see myself using StanStore too or something like that, but if I could just host it myself, which I did make one on my website, but it wasn't as visually appealing as this, so I just thought I'd mention it. This is pretty cool. It's a little progressive web app for a digital business card. Now, I already have a QR code, and the QR code would be what you would use to get to this site. So I don't see a point in using the QR code, but I think that I could use this as a way to just make a business card. I think that'd be kind of cool, actually. Now that I think about it, I just change the colors, change the QR code to what I already have, and then just literally use this, print it off, maybe using Canva or Vistaprint or whatever. And that way I have a progressive web app. But really what matters is now I have an actual usable business card layout. I don't know. I thought this was pretty cool. Let's see. This is another calendar app. I think this one was kind of cool because they didn't have like the AI task management, or was that a different one? I don't know. I think this one's just wanted to have full control over it. That was pretty cool looking. I just thought, like, any good options you can have is worth checking out. This, I don't know what to say, because live blogging was a thing back in the day. It was way before my time. It was 10 years before my time. However, I just thought that was pretty cool. And I mean, I would probably suggest just doing a live stream. So right now I'm using OBS to record. I could be live streaming this, but considering that I'm using vertical for the first time in a long time, I wanted to just keep it simple today. But a live blogging situation I think would also be really cool. I'm probably actually going to turn this video into a blog as well. Let's see. Oh, okay. So I didn't realize this was still a thing. And I think that maybe you could host your own version of it perhaps too. I'm not sure if this is open source or not, but this is basically a TikTok alternative, and I think that's pretty cool. And it's open source, so you could host your own essentially. I probably actually would just rather use loops, but considering I forgot about it and TikTok sucks now, I thought I'd share this. Let's see. This was just neat, honestly. Like, it's literally just like, I just want to see this, and so yeah. Now, this is another one that I thought would be kind of interesting. It's like a manager for WireGuard, probably to make it a little bit easier to use. I don't know. Considering how this tunneling stuff and VPN stuff has been kind of going over my head when I started making my home server, and it's so needed so you can actually access your stuff from outside your home, I just thought anytime I see something useful in that particular category, I'm going to share it. I don't understand this too well either. This is literally just like a bot to help you make content around your city, which I don't care about my current city, but if I move to Austin, or more specifically like Singapore, where I actually want to live in those places, I can see myself using something like this and becoming a local content creator. Let's see. Oh, so an LLM boosted investment tracker. Again, not my cup of tea, but it was unique and interesting, and I was like, I have to share this. This seems pretty cool. Another fitness tracker, and again, the interface is a big deal. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but might as well share it. Quickly going through these, because some of these are just kind of iffy. What is this? Self-hosted feed generation toolkit for blah, blah, blah. RSS feeds. I think this is one I probably should have just closed out, but yeah, Control F4. Another podcast hosting tool. I'm not sure how good it is, but I can't stand paying for podcasting when it comes so cheap. Like, it's not that expensive of a service, and yet they're charging you so much. Like, it's not expensive for them to do anymore, because hosting audio files is pretty low ticket. Like, if it was video files, I understand. Audio files, not as much. And so I'm using Substack right now to host my podcast. I'm not happy with them, but it's free. So okay, so this was interesting. It's like a special search engine that kind of brings things together. Let me go back. I thought I had the page open. So it was interesting to me where it kind of consolidates things together, and it also keeps your privacy. And so again, kind of going back to that gray man concept, where if you want to just try to have, like, you don't trust anyone, that's kind of what I'm getting at now. I'm kind of at that point where I don't trust anyone, and it consolidates things too for you together, like aggregates. So I thought that was pretty cool. Let's see. This is kind of cool. It's like a little personal video recorder, like a DVR for YouTube. And yeah, I'll leave it at that because I don't want to get in trouble. This is pretty cool. Essentially, it is your own server that saves the archive for your VODs on Twitch. And considering the fact that they don't save it for you unless you have like a very high tier plan, I thought that was very cool. I tried streaming to Twitch, and honestly, if I'm going to stream, I'm probably going to record at the same time anyways. But I figured there's a decent amount of people that this would help in their workflow quite a bit. And now we're getting into the gaming stuff. So if you were sticking around, thanks for being here. This is, again, more gaming centric. If you're on your Steam Deck, or I use my Legion Go with Bazite, you have Deculoader. Like, it's almost 99% sure that you have Deculoader. And so now you can stream your own music instead of freaking Spotify to your deck. Next is a game management thing. You're going to see a lot of these game organizations, but this one looked pretty cool. It had a very nice interface, and I guess it's supposed to combine certain stores, and so I just wanted to show that to you. Here is the actual GitHub page. Next is, okay, so this is kind of cool. Essentially, you have your own personal retro gaming collection. Goes up to like PS1, I think. I have a screenshot of the next tab. And essentially, it allows you to play them locally on your computer. Now, if you're watching this vertically, you're not going to see it very well, so go watch the YouTube video. But it's so cool. You have like the Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, NES, Super NES, PS1. I mean, it depends on what your system can run, but essentially you're not hosting it in the cloud. Like you're hosting the collection in the cloud, or not cloud, your server, I mean. But you're playing it in the browser of your computer, your device that you're coming off of. So if you want to just like, hey, I really want to play Chrono Trigger right now, but I don't have the ROM on me, let me just load up my server and I can just play it in my browser at my hotel room or whatever. And then this is another one, I think, very similar to it. And essentially, it's a ROM manager that you can host in your server. I would probably actually lean more towards this one because I don't really care about playing it where I'm at, ironically, because I'm probably going to have the ability to do it on one of my portable devices I'm bringing with me. But managing my ROMs has been a pain in the butt. And I could definitely see myself putting this on my server. I mean, either one is pretty cool. Next is a game distribution platform like Steam. Do I have the tab open? Yes. So essentially, it's basically making your own Steam. I do not understand who would use this, but I can definitely see why this exists. This is really cool. This is literally, and it just like, I guess it also helps upgrade your game library too. So it can be like a consolidation thing. But really, I think that this is kind of interesting in its own right? You can basically you can have your own Steam. And I wonder if this would be kind of great if you have like very limited internet access. You just download it once to your server. Then if you have multiple devices, it can come to this instead of Steam itself. So that's kind of cool. I don't know exactly how that might work when it comes to like DRMs and stuff like that, but maybe if you have a whole bunch of GOG games or something like that. Like this just seems really cool. Next, let's see. Okay, I don't care about DOS games very much. I'm not that old, but there's games like, Elder Scrolls that I would like to play from the DOS era, or maybe even Doom or something like that, just to say that I did. And this is a way to do that. So that's basically it. Another game organizer. Compared to the ones we just looked at, I didn't realize that this one didn't look as good, but it's probably very useful and very functional, and so don't take my initial opinion with a grain of salt. Let's see. So this is pretty cool. I think I saw another one a while back, but this one actually seems relatively up to date. When was it last updated? Let's see, 9 months ago. That's not too bad. But it's a multi-streaming server for you, and I think that is something very helpful because right now it's literally just Restream and Streamlabs that can consolidate your streams, or not consolidate, syndicate your streams for you. And so if you had your own multi-streaming service built in, I think that this would be a great way of going about it. So you would have to have a decent setup. I think your computer would have to be pretty beefy to handle something like this. But if you have a computer just dedicated to multi-streaming, then this would be actually a very great way of using it. And doing it too, because I think that paying for Streamlabs or Restream is not necessarily, and keep in mind, I've been testing out Restream recently. I definitely want to use it, something like that. So this is just a video sharing platform. I guess essentially kind of like your own little YouTube. Pretty cool. Don't know enough about it. Look at the link down below. Now, I gotta admit, when I first saw these screenshots, I was pretty impressed. Let me see if I can click one of them so you can see it, because this is insane. This looks like a nice alternative to Notion. And considering that this channel is about knowledge management tools, I might have to actually test this myself and make a video about it, because this actually looks a little bit like Notion when it comes, I hope it's not just a database, but this looks like a page here. So this looks like a normal page, and you have a normal database here. This looks like an open source alternative to Notion. And considering that there's so many of them out there, Affine, Anytype, let's see, AppFlowy, and obviously I use Obsidian with bases, and I think that is still technically the best. But if I can find a really nice alternative to Notion, I might find a way to use this. So I thought that was really cool. Definitely wanted to share that. And then, so I know a lot of people are going to have a lot of opinions about this. Open Recall. This is their open source alternative to Windows Recall, or even like the stupid crap that Mac was trying to do. So I understand why people wouldn't want this. But if you're self-hosting it, pretty much all the dangers kind of go away. Granted, there still is that data memory that if someone hacked into you, they could access. So that is something you have to be worried about. But it basically learns your habits, and that can help train your own personal local AI like a Jarvis. And I've been trying to set that up. That's why I'm doing this whole server thing. I have my little voice assistant PE right here. And I'm thinking, like, I'm probably not actually going to use Home Assistant at all because I want to just use the hardware. I don't care about Home Assistant. I care about the hardware. And so I'm thinking if I find some sort of RAG tool that I can train with all of my Obsidian Vault data, use something like Open Recall here, use something like a local LLM, I can essentially create my own Jarvis. And I think this is something people should not sleep on if you're wanting a local assistant. This is just kind of cool. If you want to host your own game server, here you go. This is like a nice all-in-one solution for you. And then speaking of RAG and AI search, this is something that basically would pair up with that Open Recall, I would think. And so, I'm just kind of spitballing here, but that seems pretty cool. Let's see. Ooh, open source medium alternative. I hate medium, so let's do this. I actually don't think I looked at this one yet, so that's kind of cool. I think that this is kind of just unique. I mean, I'm still going to use probably Ghost, but let me just see one of the websites here. Yeah, very clean. Let's look at the articles. Yeah, this is very simple and clean, but that's pretty nice, actually. Now, this is one of the last tabs, I think, right? Yeah, this is the last tab. So, this is kind of cool. This is a 3D printed server rack you can make. It looks like it's big enough for one of those like Dell Optiplex small form factor PCs, and then you have some smaller ones over here. Or maybe this is farther away, I can't tell. But, there's a handful of these different projects out there. You also might be able to get like RackPi too, which is pretty cool. But I figured if you have a 3D printer, this might be a cool way of going about it. Now, this is probably the last thing I'm showing you today, but I wanted to make this video because I was already going down a massive rabbit hole. There was like a couple hundred tabs open. I closed a lot of them. Now I have just this collection that I've shown you, and I just simply wanted to share with you all the different cool tools that I found, because I'm going to probably experiment with at least a dozen of these, if not half of them. And if I like any of them, I'll probably make another video sharing that. Again, if there's lag in this video, I'm sorry. My computer's struggling to handle all these tabs and video processing at the same time, but hopefully you can find some cool tools. I wanted to make an actual unique self-hosting tool video, and the links are down below. Thank you.